Welcome to Inside the Skev, and also it's Skokie. And I'm your host of Inside the Skev, Aaron Masliansky, and we are here with the It's Skokie podcast people, so if you want to introduce yourselves.
Me first. I'm Scott Holtz, and I brought with me
Eileen Collins.
So we are all here because, we all thought it would be great to have a show where we interview each other because we both have these podcasts that are focusing on Skokie, and mine also takes care of Evanston too. But rather than compete, we're collaborating, and
Yes.
Because.
We
I
may
think
be taking over the world. Is that what you're thinking?
I think
slowly.
At least Skokie. But, there's so many interesting people here that there's not room for just, you need more than just one podcast to cover what's going on in this town. So it's great you guys are over here at Industrious in Evanston, though, so I brought you over to the other side.
What's funny is we've never really hit the same topics, though. We've both been doing this for about a year.
Right.
And
That's how many topics there are.
The same.
We've had a couple crossovers for sure, but there's so many interesting people that it's so rich in what we can find out about.
I'm dying over the setup at Industrious. Mm-hmm. Very upset about Skokie's setup now that I thought was great, but this is kind of cool.
Well, we rough it.
Ours is more of the camping studio.
Yes. It's like Papa 10.
Yeah. I've gone on location too, but typically I do it here. I like it where I can kind of control the sound level and everything else. It's been fun.
And everything else.
I know.
They had food out there. Did you see that?
I did.
My purse is filled.
Well, we shouldn't do this, but Skokie is looking at a co-working space. We're in a co-working space in downtown Evanston right now, and Skokie is looking at trying to do something like that in downtown Skokie. So it's exciting to see one of these thrive because there are lots of people walking around in this space.
Oh, yeah, and it's a great way for people to network and meet, and it's right in the heart of downtown Evanston. So, it'd be great if Skokie had something similar to this, too.
Oh, my God.
I think it's kind of the wave of how people work now.
A big difference between downtown Evanston and downtown Skokie is foot traffic. There is a lot of foot traffic here, and there is next to none in downtown Skokie. I hate to say that out loud, but it's the fact.
Yeah.
Well, maybe when a building like this exists, that is a co-work space.
Well, that's what I think downtown Skokie needs is more places for community to thrive and organize. So a co-working space like this, there are lots of people who work at home who would love to have something like this, but wouldn't want to have to drive a long distance to get to it. So it's a win-win.
Absolutely. And, my wife works here. She's a reading specialist tutor, and she was going house to house and meeting with students, and it just made more sense to have an office where people can come to her.
So she's here too?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
We should drop by and start reading and just see if she thinks we're doing well or if there's any adjustments.
There's always room for improvement, that's for sure. So why did you guys decide to start a podcast?
I didn't, so Scott.
It was me, and I had been talking about it for a while. The only reason people like me is because I know what's going on, and once they figure out what's going on, they just avoid me like the plague. So I decided to share my knowledge, and I had planned to do this for a long time, and I had another co-host in mind.
How rude. This is upsetting
that is
now.
rude.
But scheduling was making it very hard for us to be able to make that work. So I was going to fly solo. I have no filter, though. So it's really hard to just let me go. We've made it 50 episodes without an F-bomb, but I have no filter. Our first episode was about the 8,000 North Project, and I decided to bring Eileen in because Eileen had lots of experience about rental property. Mm-hmm. And at the time could help validate the idea that a high-rise, mid-rise rental building in downtown Skokie is a viable idea. Because
and look at it now. How right was I?
I know. And look, we just nailed that.
I mean, it's almost like I'm psychic.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Well, what the good news is I believe they're going to decorate the crane and drop something off of it for New Year's Eve.
Okay, somebody, and I don't know who, is friended me on Instagram or followed me on Instagram. That is going out as the Skokie crane.
They followed
There's a
my
whole
Inside the Skev.
Don't you wonder who it is?
Yeah.
I followed
I
him
do.
back. Did you? I got
Yes.
I have to know who it is.
They thought it was me. It's not me. I had
I would
but
think
I think
it
it's
is.
brilliant.
Yeah.
I do think it's brilliant, and I give credit to the person. But the best news is they're going to start building the parking deck soon, but they're bringing another crane in to do that. So
Oh, I hope that crane follows me too.
I know.
It's like 2
Little
followers.
crane, big
Two
crane.
cranes. I bet there will be another social media handle up soon with that.
I hope.
Yeah, I mean, it really is the project that never ended or started, actually.
That's true. Well, hopefully in a year from now we'll see something going
The
on.
frustration is that I think everybody was so excited about this project that they got cart way before horse.
Yep.
And not all the, I always get this confused, T's were crossed and I's were dots. Hey, I said it right. There was a too early groundbreaking. There was a too early start of construction that got hit by a polar vortex that stopped it. And then apparently there were some EPA issues, and then there were apparently some IDOT issues. And now the latest is it costs more to build a building in the winter than it does in good weather, so they're just waiting.
Got it. Interesting. Well, you guys have had 50 episodes, you said?
50. And she and I just kind of bonded during that first one, and it was a nice conversation. And I, at the end of it, said, hey, do you want to do this every week? And she, I don't know why, because there was no alcohol involved at all, agreed immediately. So the rest is history.
And have you guys enjoyed doing it? I mean, has it helped you with your personal businesses by branding yourselves?
Not necessarily.
No.
No.
We're genius business people, so that's a
We
shock.
don't need the help. It's just a
Shocking.
thing like that. But no, I think what it does is my philosophy in the beginning is I brought in the people that I knew already, and I didn't need to ask the questions. She needed to ask the questions. So we fit into this groove of me bringing a friend and you getting to know them.
So, yeah, the great thing for me has been just really getting to know, after living in Skokie for as long as I have, over 20 years, finding out so many things about Skokie, the inner workings, and a lot of what interesting and amazing people are doing that I didn't know.
Right. That's what I found too. I mean, it's
Isn't it great?
You get to meet these people. Like I started off where I was meeting people or interviewing people that I knew or previous clients or, and I still do that every
the
so often.
low-hanging fruit. That
Yeah,
are easy to reach out
exactly,
to. Yeah.
and you get some content on there. But I've gotten to meet a lot of people that I never would have met, and you get to sit down and have these great conversations with them.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
It is. It is. We've talked, and I know you have too, to the mayor of Skokie, who,
Yes.
And I love that one because it wasn't the mayor talking about Skokie. It was the mayor talking about
his life,
the mayor and his wife. And my favorite takeaway from that one was his would-be or future in-laws reminding Susan
of what her name would be.
Her name, well, if you marry this man, Susan, your name will be Susan Van Dusen. So,
Which I love saying,
fantastic.
actually.
That's awesome, and I have chuckled about that like a second grader since I've known her, and at least now we know that it is an inside joke with the Van Dusen family, and he's just the nicest guy.
Yeah,
Just
he
the
really
nicest
is.
guy.
Yeah, I got to meet him when I was an intern back in 2003
That's
for the
right.
planning department. But it was great to sit down with him and with Karen when I interviewed them. It was a little bit different of a conversation because mine was more Skokie focused, but yours was, about his life and about his book and, what was going on there.
And I mean,
he's
and
fascinating.
he's still a teacher right now. Like, you could still take his classes. He's an amazing man.
He's a really civically engaged person, and I think that's what's so fantastic.
You were in planning, right?
Yes.
Pete resigned or retired finally.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was a couple weeks ago, and they've hired somebody new, and it moving forward.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was there for a long time, did a lot of great work. So, Scott, you've been involved with Skokie for a long time, too, with their economic commissions and whatnot. What has gotten you involved there?
I moved into Skokie 20-plus years ago.
From where?
From Evanston. Thank you. I found the Chicago bungalow of my dreams. I found good taxes. I found good, and at that time, a tired but functioning downtown. what got me involved with really the development of downtown was the lack of bike racks. I couldn't ride my bike from home and lock it anywhere because there was nothing but giant light posts to lock around, and the sidewalks were so narrow that if you locked a bike, a wheelchair most likely couldn't get through. So I went to Village Hall, and I talked to the assistant village manager, who is now the village manager, and he sent me towards the Merchants Group, and I kind of invaded the Merchants Group, and the rest was history. And eventually we got the bike racks that we were looking for when they redid the streetscape a couple years back, but 5 years now. And in my honor, they all have an S on them. So
all after Scott.
we got the bike racks.
Yeah.
That's the great thing about, I think, places like Skokie, and it may be similar in Evanston, I don't know, but you could get involved and actually get something done and see the results of your...
I don't want to pat myself on the back, but Wednesdays on the Green, which is in its 10th season, is
Which
there
I love.
because of me.
Yeah.
The first 8 years were something that I did as a fundraiser for the chamber. I'm a firm believer in letting things go and growing new leaders. So one of the committee people stepped up and took my responsibilities over for Wednesdays on the Green, and it continues to thrive. And it was the Skokie Chamber of Commerce's #1 fundraiser for the last several years. So, things
That gets
like
foot
that.
traffic.
If you have a good idea, and it grows foot traffic and awareness, if you have a good idea and you can put it together and you know the right people, you
Well,
can
like
make it
Backlot
happen.
Bash, I think Randy Miles was key in getting that going. Am I
Randy
right?
was key in the Backlot Bash.
And it's huge.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a blast.
It's a great thing for the area.
It was originally a downtown Skokie event. The crotchety merchants got it moved over to Oakton Park. And at some point, the crotchety merchants brought it back into downtown. And it's in a different location than where it used to be. It used to
Right.
close Lincoln Avenue.
Yeah.
And it has grown into a huge attended summer festival.
Do you think Evanston's similar, that if you have a great idea, it's kind of easy to get it going?
Oh, yeah, I do. And I think that people are super invested in Evanston,
Yeah.
where they feel like they take ownership of it. And you look at the merchants, like I've interviewed Catherine Gotzik, who's the director of the Main Dempster Mile. And there's a couple business districts in Evanston where it's a special taxing district, but then they do a lot to promote the businesses in the area. And she, in particular, is so enthusiastic about this area. And then all of the merchants, too. I mean, it's like they live and die Evanston.
Yes.
and
And
same
see-
thing in downtown. I had Annie Coakley on, and she is super enthusiastic about this area, and so are the merchants. And people love being here and have pride in it. So
Absolutely.
I think it's similar in both communities.
I do
do
too.
too.
Yeah.
I do too.
I think Skokie could use a little more push for that pride. I think that people need to understand you can take ownership. You can contribute. One of the things that Evanston does that I'm just really thrilled about is that leadership program.
Yes.
It really helps people become leaders in the community rather than stumble your way through and figure it out. There's a program that'll help you do that, and funds to help you pay for it, and a really, really well run thing through the Evanston Community Foundation, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's like you could be entrepreneurial about taking leadership within the community. I mean, what we're doing, I think, is a way to promote the community and
Yes.
lead for the community.
Yes.
And it's not like somebody told us we have to do it, or we
Right.
work for somebody that's made us do it. But I think it's a great way to promote everything about the community. And Eileen, you do. I mean, Scott, you're doing web design. That's your business. And Eileen, you're doing life coaching.
Yeah,
right?
life and business coaching, and I love it. Yeah.
And how did you get into that?
So I'd been in real estate a number of years.
Because everybody she knows is a red hot mess.
No. I'd been,
Opportunity everywhere.
God, it was like, I'm never going to lack for clients. No. And as my kids were getting ready for college and talking about what they might want to do with their futures, I kept hearing myself say, if I had it to do over again, and I just said it one too many times, and like the words hung in the air like a cartoon. And
Yeah.
I'm like, my God, I'm not dead. I could maybe do something about that. So I started taking classes. I went back to school. I started taking psychology classes. eventually the fit for me was more towards, and a lot of psychologists and therapists have also either become coaches or added coaching to their practices. It's just very, very goal-oriented, and that just appeals to me after all the years I've had in business. I kind of like the approach where people see some light that they can head towards.
And is that what the difference is between like therapy and coaching?
It's a significant difference.
Yeah. One
of the differences is people who have, there are certain issues that coaches just do not touch. They're psychological. I wouldn't work with somebody who had addiction issues, for instance, or, or certain psychological trauma issues, unless, there are trauma coaches. There are times when someone seeks a therapist and a coach. They can work with both.
Sure.
But one of the differences definitely is we are working with them on goal-oriented movement that they determine through sessions and help them, take steps and get them closer and closer and closer till they achieve their goals.
Yeah. So you found that to be pretty fulfilling. And
oh, I love it.
You've got it back.
It. Yeah, definitely.
Well, and from
love
somebody who uses the coach, it's a lifesaver. It's somebody neutral out there to talk to.
Oh, yeah.
Who's going to get you talking and solving your own problems.
That's kind of that's the empowerment of coaching too. Is a lot of times therapy, and nothing wrong with that. Sometimes it's very needed. Spends a lot of time in your past why you feel the way you feel. We may be, as a coach, touching on why you feel the way you feel, but a lot of it is going to be asking questions about what you want to feel, and then maybe substituting a different thought that may be leading that feeling and helping that client see that.
Well, I go to a coach too.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, and I totally get what you're saying. And one of the things was about a year ago, I thought to myself, I think it'd be really cool to do a podcast. And I've been thinking about doing it for a couple of years, but I wasn't sure exactly what my subject would be.
Yeah.
And I had the idea of Inside the Skev. And she said, well, what's holding you back from starting? I'm like, well, I just got to buy some equipment and just go ahead and start doing it. She's like,
and
go ahead and do it.
Isn't that great, though?
Yeah.
There's been coaching, sometimes not even called coaching, or people not recognize it as coaching for years. But like I always tell clients when they ask about it, Weight Watchers is almost a fabulous example of a business completely centered really around coaching.
Yeah,
goals are
that's
set.
true.
They're held. There's accountability. You're meeting with your coach, or you're talking to your coach, and it's very similar. The reason it's successful is kind of that there is someone holding you accountable for what you do. If you don't hit your goal, why you didn't hit your goal, and making that movement.
Those have become more popular. Like my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law both are Optavia reps, and they're like nutritional coaches.
Wow,
so you go through training and everything else.
Yeah.
So it's become really popular.
I also think it's a word of. I've ended up having lots of clients that are in their 20s, maybe focusing on either the start of a career or a career change, kind of trying to uncover what they want to do. And I think the idea of the word coach makes them already feel positive, in my experience, about the they get a little more excited. They see that like something's going to happen as they start.
Yeah, definitely. It's a positive spin on life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think it's great to be able to publicize what people in the area do, what you guys are doing. And Scott, you focus on putting things out there with your websites and everything that you produce, and even you help people produce podcasts, right?
Right. Well, I've been doing websites since 25 years, maybe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, when it still counted if AOL could find your website, if Yahoo still mattered. It's changed a lot, and the goals and expectations that people look for in their websites vary from client to client. But yeah, I've been doing that for a long time in social media, and I've been, and we've produced some podcasts for others, and it's fun to kind of create the content to go inside the websites.
You've always been a creative type, though, right?
Yeah, I have theater degree, set and lighting design. I got out
I
of
have a
college the
theater
year that
degree.
Ronald Reagan cut every penny from the federal arts budget. She's a theater kid too. So
Our parents must have been so excited.
I know,
when we-
I know.
Thank God I was on scholarship. They'd be like throwing that in my
The
face.
paper.
Yeah, no. For years, I had heard about that. So creative, but also business minded, because I ended up for a long period of my life working for big retail in that middle management layer of it. So when we left Evanston and moved to Skokie, I had made a career change. And it was really my last retail experience. And then I started my own thing, building websites. And we moved to Skokie, and there were lots of opportunities to get things done in Skokie. And I could design and develop websites and be able to go to Chamber of Commerce meetings and merchant meetings and things like that to really feel as if we were making an impact on downtown. Now, it also, I can build the Skokie website. I can build the downtown Skokie website. I had the previous version of the Chamber website. I can build those things too. So it became kind of a valuable way to let my talents help really promote the community.
Yeah, I think your website is great. You have a lot of resources on there. And, the more we have to be able to show people what a rich community it is.
The saddest part about local media and local news is there is no Skokie Review in reality anymore. It's content from, there's no local Skokie reporter anymore. There's not a Mike Isaacs anymore that covers the Skokie
Don't tell
beat.
him that. There is a Mike Isaacs.
But he doesn't write for a paper that everybody
Right.
that has access. So the specific Skokie stories, the heartwarmers, and even the coverage of Village Hall meetings is gone.
Yeah.
Evanston still has some powerful coverage or some decent coverage.
Well, the
And you have a couple
roundtable
of
isn't
news
printing
sources.
anymore.
Right.
Yeah, they just stopped printing the Evanston Roundtable. It's just online. And then there's Evanston Now, which is just online. And then there's the Evanston Review, but it's very similar.
Well, but the Evanston Review probably has a circulation of about 5,000 these days. There probably isn't that much in print anymore.
True. I mean, I went to go buy some, recently, and there were only a couple at the store. I mean, they don't really print too many.
No, I think when the last number I knew about the Skokie Review was it was no more than 9,000. It was its distribution. Electronically, it was stronger.
Yeah.
But it was no more than 9,000 in the distribution, and you're talking about a population of 65,000 people. So there wasn't much news even getting out then. But just the local news is, Skokie's latest headline is the Uber tax.
Yeah.
But there's so many other great things that are going on in Skokie that just get shoved over because of the controversy.
I think it's that way everywhere now. I mean, a lot of people do pay attention and watch like world news and so forth.
Oh, for
but
sure.
when we were growing up, and that could sound 100, but there were a few
Back in the
choices,
old days.
Shuddy. There were a few choices of news
I'll tell both
channels,
ways.
and people watched kind of the same news. Now, I have talked to so many people, I don't even understand this, but that say, "Oh, I don't like to watch the news. It's upsetting." I'm like, "Well, then get involved, honey, because it's
Change
the
it.
news."
After 9/11, the news changed. But starting with the advent of cable TV and 24-hour news, they had to start to create content. Here's the problem. They can take a 30-second news bite or a 30-second film clip and fill an entire day on speculation. And it just upsets people. We used to get news in a morning paper and an evening paper. We used to get news at 6 and 10 p.m.
Right.
And now we have news everywhere we look.
And like
on
every other
device.
business, there's a huge amount of competition. So you'll see in a different way a teaser where they're literally kind of making you pay attention out of fear.
I love that the media talks so much about the government, taking money. The media wouldn't exist if there wasn't big advertisers and sponsors. So they're always trying to increase their ratings to make the value of the media higher so they can sell it to more for the sponsors.
I mean, this happened, with Spanish-American War was a good way to sell newspapers.
Right.
So it's been happening for a while. But, yeah, I think that there is a dearth of local news coverage, and I think that, our shows can help fill that void.
I do. I think that a lot of the interest stories, human interest, things like that, are we're picking up. We're covering Turning Point's 50th anniversary. We're covering things like that people aren't going to find in the paper anymore.
Right. How do you, as a podcaster, think that you find something? Do you watch the news and think, "Oh my God, I should try to get them on my podcast"?
Some people I've had on because I've seen them in other articles in other local papers. So, for instance, I had on Dino Robinson from Shorefront Legacy Center, and he had a whole exhibit at the Evanston City Hall about redlining in Evanston and the history of it.
Wow.
And I thought, this is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Learn about the history, learn about what his organization does, and we could talk about housing and everything else. So I reached out to him, and that was one way that I found him. And some of the people, they're in the news, or what's it called? I had... there's definitely people that I've had on because of it. Sketchbook Brewing Company, they're moving and opening, or not moving, they're opening up another facility in Skokie, and they have a great facility that they're just opened the expansion in Evanston. And I thought, my God, they would be great to have on the show because they're such a great local piece and showing how
we thought the
is
same
growing.
Impossibly because they would bring beer, but
Exactly.
Everybody in Skokie, well, at least the beer drinkers in Skokie, well, at least the younger set in Skokie is very excited about this. And it was amazing how, when it was announced, everybody was coming out saying, wow, I could walk over there. Foot traffic.
Yeah.
Yes. That changes it. You've got the bike path right there.
Yeah. You've got CARE. You've got the community animal rescue effort, which used to be based here in Skokie at the animal shelter across from Steak and Shake. They left Evanston and had been kind of a foster at home, foster in storefronts organization for a long time, and then found a building in Skokie, paid cash for it, and redid it. And we've got this great volunteer center and adoption center in Skokie now. I hate to say downtown Skokie, but there it is.
Well, it's on the edge of it.
Yeah. So it is with that bike trail just a wonderful location for them.
It is. And you guys had them on your show recently.
We haven't talked to them yet.
No? Oh, okay.
We have not talked to them yet.
Okay.
Because she would just be wanting samples.
Samples of pets.
So,
well, CARE. We did talk to CARE.
Yeah,
we didn't talk to Sketchbook. Oh, I thought we were talking about CARE. My head went one step ahead. Yeah, we did talk to CARE recently.
Yeah.
was there anybody in the beginning or at any point when you started doing the podcast that didn't really understand what would happen or what a podcast was?
Yeah, definitely. I think that, well, I think most people that I spoke to know what podcasts are. Some people have not agreed to come on, and that's okay.
And those are the ones. Then I want them the most.
We share one in common.
We do.
And doesn't it make you want them more for no reason?
Well, it makes me want to allude that it might be the Illinois Science and Technology Park. But
oh my
Lord! You can edit that out. We wouldn't.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
Now they're not coming.
No, but there's other people too
anyway.
who I think would be great on the show, but for whatever reason, maybe they're busy.
It's timing.
It's timing.
Eileen and I only make this work is because we've committed to 10:30 on Wednesdays. We meet. And so if you're available at that time, that's when we're available. I don't have the time or really the dedication to chase it down and, okay, we'll come to your house at 9 o'clock on Sunday because I want to interview that bad.
Right.
We put it into our schedule to make it work because there's two of us, so there's a little bit less flexibility there. But we've really had nobody... We've had to fidget the time a little bit, but we haven't ever had to really fidget the day, so it worked out nice for us that way.
Who's been your favorite interview?
Oh, you weren't here for this one. It was one that Mark and I did. Serge at Old Orchard, who was a little hesitant at the beginning because I don't think he knew where it was going to go.
Yeah.
But once he figured out we're talking about what you do and what you talk about all day long, it was a really good podcast.
I thought so too. I learned a lot about Old Orchard.
Mm-hmm.
There's several that,
There's
think
a lot
of that are interesting. I thought Michelle Tuft with Park District right before Backlot Bash was certainly interesting. I love Chief Scarpelli whenever he's available.
The chief is always a good guest.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I mean,
Some of my favorites are where the guest bombs or we just didn't have a guest, and it's just Mark and Eileen and I kind of filling a half an hour because we can do that.
yeah. I'm trying to think. I feel like there
I'd
have
have to
been
look at the
several
list.
that were
The Haven.
interesting.
I mean,
oh my God,
we
the Haven.
bounce back
I
and
was
forth between
so
merchants, community leaders, and not-for-profits. Right?
I was so excited to do the Haven Funeral Home in the Haven Funeral Home that I almost ruined the entire thing because I
Why?
was well too excited. I
She
just
was
was.
way
I had so
excited
many
about this.
questions, and
Why were you so excited to go there?
I think because it's like a mystery. I mean, all of us have been in, sadly, funeral homes, but you're never going to ask for a tour when you're there because that's wrong.
Sure.
But when we were going there to do the podcast, I did have questions. I knew it had been in the family for generations. So both during the podcast, questions before and after, and we did take a tour. I remember I asked young, handsome Will Haben, son of, so grandson, right, of the third generation.
Third generation.
In the Haven, I was asking, well, do you do makeup ever? And he's like, oh, of course, And then I was like, do you ever look at your wife and think I could totally do your makeup? And he said, it was after the podcast, and he said, of course I do, but I tell her she has to lie down. And I was like, oh my God, that's so great.
That's so creepy too.
It was so great. He's such a nice guy. And and they're an amazing, of course, sensitive. Like I was really interested into what kind of training, goes into all that they do, and is there a big psychology component? Of course there is.
Sure.
Like it was a really interesting. That was one of my
and
favorites.
admit, you wanted to take this. You wanted to take the show picture laying in a coffin.
It was one way to go. I just thought it was one way to go.
It is a way to go.
I mean, who wouldn't want that?
Right. Yeah.
I think we did not end up going that route. But
And they had a great time. They had a really great time. I finally have like all of the, we've sat down and talked to Jim and Gloria Iverson about the mission of Mini-Man Monkey Brains and
have you heard of that company? Have you ever been in Mini-Man Monkey Brains? Do you know what we're talking about?
I have not been in there.
It is amazing. Gloria Iverson is a special ed teacher. Is that correct, Scott?
Mm-hmm. And she's a special ed teacher here in Evanston.
Yeah, and they have a son who she recognized very early, I think, on that he had special needs. So as he was moving through the system, and becoming a young adult, she realized the need for a business that would be something that he would be able to do, that would train, and there just wasn't anything for her. She then, I think, reached out through the community and tried to get a big cooperation. And long story short, she took matters into her own hands, created this candy store, and the clerks are people with special needs. It teaches them skills. It's a great candy shop, and it's just kind of one of my favorite things in the community, actually, is that store.
That's why we need shows like this
Isn't
to
it?
show off these people.
Isn't that
Yes,
an amazing,
it is.
it's a wonderful resource, a wonderful store, and really, I feel like if more people knew about it, they would copy it in location after location.
Right. Well, yes, you got to have a lot of, that's not making any money. I mean, you got to have a lot of heart to run something like that because you could
you've gotta
never
have
pay
heart,
the rent, you
need,
could
and
never pay
support.
the overhead if the whole family doesn't kind of live in that building. The
Right.
building has 2 storefronts. It was a major coup to move the comic book store over next to the candy store. That happened out of the goodness of hearts and people knowing that the comic book store is struggling, they need to get their rent reduced. How can we do that? Let's see, and Jim giving them, the owner of the building, Jim Iverson, giving them a very reasonable, fair for both parties rent so that they could afford to continue to live in downtown Skokie. Jim's offices are behind, and he's a marketing distributor guy, Danish butter cookies. If you see the blue tin at Walgreens, that's him. She's not a big butter cookie fan.
We could talk about that another time. There's no icing. I'm just going to
She's
say
just
it.
butter cookies. So she's if there's a
Icing
little
is
icing
good.
on it, it'd be a whole different thing. And upstairs, he rents out spaces also, small office spaces. So that candy store is not a big enough moneymaker.
So
To
he's
be
gotta
able to
subsidize it
afford.
with
You
other
have to
types of
subsidize
things.
that with everything else. So that's the beauty of the Iversons, and that's kind of the beauty of the way it works in downtown Skokie. I also own a yoga studio, North Branch Yoga, ding ding, and it is next to a pizza place, next to a coffee shop, and a really lovely little bakery, next to a flower shop, next to it just keeps going
It has
down,
the
and you
elements
know
of
everybody.
pedestrian friendly too.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, but I was also the kid when I moved into town that was out meeting the neighbors before the moving truck ever moved in. So I like to know my friends, and I like to know how I can help, and I like to know how they can help me, and how we can make it a little bit better place. So at least, with beautiful downtown Skokie, we've got the merchants to meet each other, and people don't think that way anymore. It's just not the culture. Go do your business and go home.
Well, I think it's people have to collaborate and be friends with each other and care about your neighbor, and I think that's kind of the takeaway, of what we're all trying to do.
It is, and I think in Evanston especially, while other communities are fighting so hard to keep businesses and brick and mortar places alive, I think Evanston is finding a way to do that.
Yeah,
it
Central
seems like,
Street.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Or Southeast Evanston.
Yeah.
Downtown Evanston even has a lot of little shops.
Oh, downtown Evanston's been completely reinvented in the past 20 years.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Yeah.
But I had on, a person who owns Bookends and Beginnings, and that's a little store in the alley, Bookman's Alley, and tiny little shop, very old building, very independent, and it's fantastic, and it survives. But it's hard.
It is hard, and that it needs the whole community to understand that.
Yeah.
Well, we've covered the comic book store, we've covered the candy store. Oh, District 69's community school effort, I think that's been a really educational, how the superintendent and her staff have taken the tools that are available in the communities around us, put them together for the families of District 69. District 69, Madison, Edison, Lincoln, half of it low income. I think it's 50% is free or reduced lunches. So not everybody can afford eye care or checkups and things such as that. And the resources that are all over the place are all pooled together and partnered with the school district. So
Dentistry, eye visits, vaccinations,
Yeah,
a whole plethora.
yeah, they bring in a dental truck that's a semi, and they do dental exams.
They
for
do that at Walker also, where my kids go
Yeah.
in Skokie, but Evanston School District, Skevinston. But yeah, it's great that there's a lot of resources like that. So where can people come to find your show?
We're on the Google Play. We're on iTunes. We're on all the streaming sources, so you could look it up there, or you could just go to the website itskokie.com, and we have all the links to all the podcasts and a little bit of introduction and some story behind each one of them. And in some cases where we've got show notes, we'll post those important links that people are looking for right on that page there.
Yep. And since this is going to be on It's Skokie also, if you want to listen to Inside the Skev, you can go to skevinston.com. Or if you type in Inside the Skev, you'll get there too.
Did you buy the zip code by any chance? That would be a great domain. Is it
60203?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to.
You should buy it.
His fingers are really quick like that.
It's going to happen shortly.
Before you leave the building.
Yes.
Because that's a really quick way to tell people that remember
that's a
the
great
number.
idea.
Yeah.
Oh.
So a takeaway for me
And I'm
this
also, go ahead.
is just that what could have been two separate podcasts looking at each other like, oh my God, I do this area. Instead, it was like kind of a mutual fun admiration and way to work together.
Well, no, there's more. The more news that's shared, the better.
Absolutely.
And his focus is very specific, and our focus is very specific,
Correct.
and our paths don't cross. There's
They
an article
can, and it's kind of
about-
great.
But they can, but our shows are different.
Yeah.
I think it's
Ours suck, yours are good.
His makes sense.
You guys have it's a lighter, it's almost like a radio show, and you guys play off each other very well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
And mine, I think, it's just me, and it's more interview.
But if you are looking for someone else, because he is one. I'm
High
innocent.
maintenance.
Fighting words.
Yeah, no. No, I don't know. Eileen and I have become, we were acquaintances before, mostly through your husband. the ever-hugging Mark Collins, ding ding. But Eileen and I have become very good friends, and I don't know what I would do without her. So she has led me through some dark spots in my life, and it made me laugh. You could count on a good laugh every Wednesday. And I agree, it is a good, almost old-school radio format that we have. It's live. We don't edit. The only reason I have an intro song is because she insisted. You didn't wear your tiara today.
No, because again, no cameras is very disappointing, but I understand. But the setup here is nice. I don't want to complain.
Really
nice.
Yeah. See,
no
and
problem.
we started doing it in the library with borrowed equipment and didn't really know what to do. And at one point, we shifted out of the library and just bought that equipment. And one of the goals that we wanted to do was be able to make it mobile so it would be easier to get guests. I can come to you at 10:30 on Saturday, on Wednesday, and set up in your conference room.
Whether you ask him to or not, so just under
I
good
just
to
happen
know.
to show up some days, but it works that way and works nicely for us. So thank you for having us.
Thank
you're
you so
welcome.
much.
My pleasure. And, everyone just remember to go on to your favorite podcast app, look up It's Skokie, look up Inside the Skev.
I bet you if you keyworded, just look for Skokie.
If you look for
both of our
Skokie or
podcasts
Evans,
will come up.
they'll for sure come up.
So, I mean, we've both done a good job with that.
Yes. Well, this has been so much fun.
Thanks.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks so much, everyone, for listening to this latest episode of Inside the Skev. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want to know more about the Skev and more about what I do as a real estate agent in the area, go to skevinson.com. They got a lot of great information there about exciting guests that have been on the show, live events that are coming up, and any type of information that you're looking for. And if you have any suggestions or questions for me, feel free to email me at aaron@skevinson.com. Always happy to hear from people. And thanks so much for listening, and please subscribe.